The game of life is rigged, and I'm going to tell you guys how you can basically escape this game. So what do I actually mean by that? What do I mean by the game is rigged? Well, honestly guys, you need to look at life as a simulation, right? I know a lot of people say the word matrix and all that kind of stuff. Very similar. Think of it like we're in a game and everyone around you is playing the game by the rules. But then you see some people that have cheat codes, and these cheat codes allow them to play the game differently. They have more leverage, they have more power, they have more money, let's say. Yeah, you see this and you're still playing the game by the rules because you think these cheat codes are too hard to do, or it's too hard to get a hold of, all of that kind of stuff. This is literally our life right now. A lot of people are working a 9-to-5 job, paying bills, you're stuck in the system, you've got a mortgage. The government, the world, the game has kept you doing things in a certain way. And I'm going to explain it to you now. If you're working a 9-to-5 job, you are stuck in that 9-to-5 job. If you've got a mortgage and a property, that 9-to-5 job is everything, because if you lose that job, you lose your house. Now you've got car on finance. Now you definitely can't lose that 9-to-5 job because you can't pay for the house or the car otherwise. On top of that, this 9-to-5 job pays you, let's say, $3,000 a month. Let's say your rent is $1,000. Let's say your bills are like $500. Let's say cars are $500. Let's just make it easy. And let's just say other stuff is about $600-700. You're left with about $300 a month. A lot of people are living like this, and I know it's not probably a fair example, but a lot of people are living like this. Then something happens, your car breaks down, you got to spend an extra $200-300 there. Then something else happens. Okay, you haven't got money now, so you need to get a credit card. You take more debt. Eventually, what happens is you live your life in this cycle, and you get more and more and more and more debt. Now you're in really deep debt, and you've got a mortgage to pay, and you've got to pay off the car. So now your 9-to-5 job means everything to you. Now, can you just randomly decide to leave the UK and then move to Dubai? No, you can't. You've got so much crap happening in the UK, you can't really do that. But you see what I'm trying to say? The game is rigged. It's forced for you not to win. You can't win if you play the game by its rules. So if you decide, you know what, I'm going to get a mortgage, I'm going to work a 9-to-5 job, I'm going to get a car on finance, you know, all of this dumb stuff. And then you're more and more into the system, which means that you can't get out. It's harder for you to get out. There's no leverage for you to get out. So what do you do from there? Well, you're in a bit of a shitty situation. Then you see people that are multi-millionaires, right? And they're playing the game by different rules, okay? They have cheat codes. Now, these cheat codes are essentially starting a business. Now, starting a business is essentially a cheat code if you do it correctly. And these people are living life differently. They're making millions and millions of dollars a year. They're living life so nice. They don't have any debt. All the properties they have is paid in cash. They've got like a $300,000-400,000 car, and you're paying off a mortgage in a $300,000-400,000 house. Like, think about this for a second. He played the game by the rules. He's got a house that's worth $400,000. He didn't play the game by its rules. He's got a car that's worth $400,000. You see what's wrong here? Crazy. And I think you guys understand what I'm saying, right? You can't play the game by its rules. You can't go to school, go to university, get in more debt through university, then get a mortgage, get in more debt through a mortgage, then buy a car on finance. You get more in debt with buying a car on finance. Then your salary doesn't even pay your lifestyle, so you're in more debt because you have to take out credit cards to pay for certain things. What you're doing is taking debt upon debt upon debt. The system is designed to keep you in debt, which basically enslaves you even more. When you start your own business and you make money online, which is the best way to make money, because physical businesses, yeah, they're great as well, but there's only so much you can make. Even then, right, you can still get in debt because you've got staff to pay, you've got rent to pay, all of that kind of stuff. With an online business, that typically isn't an issue. So if you're making money online, let's say 10K a month. Now, the best thing about making money online is that you can travel wherever you want. You don't need to buy a house necessarily. You can just rent wherever you go. That way you can never get into debt. That way you can move to any country you want. So tomorrow you decide to change your country or change your settings. Yeah, take a flight, go to another country. You don't have any like financial commitment in that country. One day you can work in Thailand, one day you can work in Dubai, one day you can work in Saudi, one day you can work in the UK. Does that make sense? These people aren't playing the game by its rules. The rules are saying, yeah, get a mortgage, put yourself in debt, all of this kind of stuff. A lot of these rich people don't own assets on debt. If they own assets, they own assets, and they own them to essentially rent them out and make money that way, make money passively. Or they buy a house in different countries for them to live in. But it's the same thing, right? If you've got that kind of leverage, then yeah, buy houses and all that kind of stuff. But if you're making like 10K a month online, let's say, you don't really need to buy a house. You can just rent anywhere you go. That way you can never get into debt. My point about this video is that the system is designed to get you into debt. The system is designed to keep you in a country. Anything happens in that country, you can't really flee. And the way the world is going, these things are very possible. So the point of this video is don't play the game by its rules. Now, I used to play the game by its rules, right? I used to work a 9-to-5 job back in the UK. And I've worked several 9-to-5 jobs, and I realized from the first time I started working a 9-to-5 job that this shit is a scam. I even went to university, so I know I got scammed. But the only reason I actually went to university was for my parents, because it made them happy. But even I told them at the time that this degree is not going to get me to where I want to be. And I'm happy to spend 9 grand a year for my parents' happiness. Whereas a lot of you people spend 9 grand a year thinking you're actually going to get something valuable out of it, which is like a high paying job. You guys are thinking completely wrong. You guys are thinking like the system. The whole time people are telling you go to university and get a job and all that kind of stuff and then get a mortgage. And I don't want to put myself in that position. So one day when I was working my 9 to 5 job, I decided, you know what, I want to quit. And what I did was I made the decision that I'm going to take a risk and move to Dubai. So what I did is I quit my job, I moved to Dubai. I had no job lined up, I had no savings. I just took the biggest risk of my life and I moved to Dubai. Now 10 months later, I now own my own 6-figure coaching business. And my coaching business operates all online, which means that I make my money all online, which means that I don't need to go to a specific location to work. As long as I've got my laptop, I can work wherever I want. I can work on my balcony, I can work in a coffee shop, I can work in another country, I can go back home to the UK for a few weeks because I can just work through my laptop. I have freedom. I'm not shackled to any 9 to 5 job where a lot of you guys are. And that's one of the things about the game, right? You're sort of shackled to a 9 to 5 job. You can't really leave it. You're stuck there. Whereas my online business, I can go wherever I want with it. If I want to work by the beach, I can also do that. And you know what the best thing is about an online business compared to a 9 to 5? Freedom obviously is very important, but also the opportunity to make more money. Because in a 9 to 5 job, you trade your time for money. Whereas in an online business, it's not really the case. When you build proper systems, you don't necessarily have to trade your time for money. And that's the beauty about business. And that's why business is essentially a cheat code, that you need to use business to have freedom, to not play the game by its rules, because everyone else is playing the game by its rules. And you can see where they are in life. Look at majority of the people that play the game by its rules. They're either in debt, they're unhappy, they're in a country that they don't like. And again, I'm not telling you this from a position of authority, like, oh, look at me, I make my own money online and this and that. I've been where you guys are now. And the only difference to me and you is that I took that decision to move to Dubai and make money online. Whereas you are deciding to be comfortable in your 9 to 5 job. You're deciding to play the game by its rules, and I decided to play the game by my rules. Because I don't have to wake up when my boss tells me to. I don't have to do tasks that someone else has told me to. I don't have to follow instructions. I work when I want and I do things when I want. But you guys are playing the game by its rules, so you have to follow the rules. Otherwise, how are you going to pay your mortgage? How are you going to pay your bills? How are you going to pay for your car? That's the difference. And you guys that are working a 9 to 5 job and you are playing the game by its rules, you can change today. So I run my own online coaching program, right? So essentially I help 9 to 5 workers or any beginners really looking to scale to 10K a month by selling their knowledge and skills to high ticket clients. So if you are interested in that, you can either DM me on Instagram, or you can book in a call with me by clicking the link in the description. But yeah, essentially you guys can start something today. So if you're watching this and you're playing the game by its rules, understand that the game is rigged and you'll never win. The only way to break the system and break out of the game and escape it by playing the game, breaking the rules. Because if you understand how the world works, you can't play the game by its rules, because the rules will never allow you to be rich. So you need to find ways outside of a 9 to 5 job to make money. And the best way, in my opinion, is making money online. And if we got even more specific, by setting up your own coaching program. Because yeah, I myself have made money through drop shipping, affiliate marketing, loads of stuff. I've done everything you can imagine online. But the best way to make money online is through a coaching program, because you can make money so quickly and you can scale that really, really quickly too. Like literally there's a woman here who teaches people how to knit and she makes $18,000 a month. So you guys need to understand, right? There's so many ways to make money online. But if you're just going to play the game by its rules, you're going to get royally So don't play the game by its rules. Break out. Be like a rebel, I guess you can say. Don't play the game by its rules. You want to have these cheat codes, which is starting a business. Now, don't get it twisted. Starting a business isn't easy either. Honestly, it takes resilience to start a business. It's hard, but so is a 9-to-5 job. So is being stuck in a country. So what hard are you going to choose? Are you going to choose the hard where you're stuck in your job? Or are you going to choose the hard where you can actually become successful? Honestly, guys, money is very important in this world. I know a lot of people say money is not important and all this kind of stuff. Money is very important. Money does buy happiness, because you can buy something for your parents. You can buy something for your family. You can put a smile on their face. You know, you give your parents the best healthcare in the world. You can pay off their mortgage. You can retire your parents. You know, things like that. Money does buy happiness. So a lot of people say money doesn't buy happiness. Yes, it does. And so does freedom. Freedom also buys happiness. Because yes, I was stressed in my 9-to-5 job, and now I'm stressed in business. But at least I have freedom. At least I get to work where I want. At least I get to travel anywhere I want to go to. And I can still make my money because my money's through my laptop. So I think you guys need to understand you can't play the game by its rules because it's rigged. And if you play the game by its rules, you're going to get royally and you've seen this with a lot of people. And the whole time, our parents have been telling us that, you know, you need to go to school, we need to go to university. It's the only way we're going to become successful. But I think a lot of guys are waking up now and they're seeing that, no, actually it's not. Because I see someone else who didn't go to university, but he's making so much money now. Whereas I did go to university and now I'm stuck in a 9-to-5 job. But there are still a few people who haven't woken up and hasn't seen how the world works. The government isn't going to save you. Job isn't going to save you. The only person really and truly that's going to save you is yourself. And we need to stop playing this game, right? Because this game is designed by the government to keep us enslaved. We need to stop playing the game by our own rules, breaking through the system, essentially like breaking out, right? Because a lot of us are sort of slave-minded. And I say slave-minded as in, like, you know, we're working a 9-to-5 job. We can't think outside of that. And I see a lot of people like that, right? And I understand it's the schooling system and all of that kind of stuff that conditioned you to believe that. But guys, honestly, you can break out of it. you can break out of it. So again, start a business, start a side hustle, make money online. If you want my help, you can DM me on Instagram, or you can book in a call with me by clicking the link in the description. Or if you want, you can play the game by its rules and get into more debt.